Hi there, and welcome to Spiritual Link, the podcast. A podcast about how developing spiritual well being can help you in your daily life and how that can enhance your confidence in who you are and what you are. The podcast is hosted by Ines and Tor. Ines is a development medium with over 30 years of experience in the field, and Tor has been her apprentice since 2013. In this episode, we talk about meditation, the positive force that exists in the ethers that we can harness for our life, and regression. You can support us by sharing the episode on your social media channels, subscribing to our podcast, and leaving a review. Remember, you can always find us on @SpiritualLinkCo on Instagram. Hi Ines, how you been?
I'm fine, thank you, Thor. Very well. Wonderful to see you again. Really, really nice.
Nice to see you too. How's your week been?
It's been good, yes. Our short little chat that we have to begin with. Yes, meditation has been not bad. I'm trying to keep on an even keel. I'm hoping everybody else is trying to keep on an even keel with the amount of meditation I do. It's not easy. It's just not easy.
Yeah, we're still
Life
human,
isn't
right?
always easy. Yeah.
We're still human. And I want to say something which you mentioned last time when I was talking about my meditations. And then I think that's, like I said to you before this call, I had a bit of a wobbly week. And what I found that meditation does is that it can at least cushion the wobbliness sometimes. That's something we said last week. And I think it's important to reiterate that. Yes, although we meditate every day, twice a day, we're still human beings. We feel all the feelings, but the meditations can at least cushion the wobble to an extent. It doesn't become so extreme,
That's right. It can sort of give strength to the mind, how we look at and psychologically deal with the events that are going on around us. We can't change events, but we can change the way we act and the way we think about it. It's basically the mind, that needs always that little bit of TLC all the time. That's what I found as well. Just get on with it and so on and so forth. No, you're quite right. What I did want to say, especially on that note as well, and I felt strongly drawn once more to just mentioning that this is slightly reiterating what we have said, that color and the sound is the alphabet of the universe. It's not just a communication alphabet. It is also an alphabet of remembering. It's an alphabet of behavior. It's an alphabet on able to shift the molecular structure in our own body. It goes that deep as well. So color and sound, of course, I'm referring to the chakrams again. And the chakrams, as I said, each relate to color. All seven colors of the chakrams also comprise the seven colors of the rainbows that we sometimes see after a rain shower, which are, of course, the dust and water droplets that are in the atmosphere, allowing us to see that rainbow. And of course, the water droplets, that we also have the same percentage of water in our own body as the earth does as well. So each color would have a sound, a smell, a feel. And these sensations are individual and would come from our sixth sense. The sixth sense is beyond the five known senses. With the chakrams, by opening our chakrams, we just asked, how did your week go? It was a rough week. It was this week. By opening the chakrams with the intent of reaching that point of meditation, we're finding an inner peace and strength, which is the foundation of I can and I will. Mean I can do it and I will survive. It is a survival code by opening those chakrams to find that inner peace and strength. And it comes from the depth of all time. We have that inner strength. It is the positive energy around us and the positive energy that is within us. And we are all able to harness and utilize this positive energy, as it is our birthright. It is our little, what would you call it? Little package you have when you go on a long hike, Thor, a survival package. It's a built-in human survival package, that inner peace and that inner strength. Hugely, hugely important. From that, of course, again, we come by opening those chakrams, as we also said, we bring forward a form of communication which is, I would say, more of an inner feeling or individual understanding, but it brings knowledge, not a belief or faith, but knowledge. A belief or faith is something that hasn't been proven, but knowledge has. And so communication is very, very important. And we are communicating with ourselves, our own inner strength. So when we open the chakrams, it is as if we're saying, here I am, come to me. Open those points of communication. I need help. I need guidance, individual guidance, of course. So that is very, very important and comes from that situation. When we're doing this, it might sound great, but opening the chakrams and to lead eventually into meditation needs to be a want, not a chore. It's a desire to elevate ourselves and to be able to remove our mind and body from the difficulties that may be around us. A clear mind, which is what we get through meditation, is a thinking mind. That thinking mind will help us. I can and I will, because you will get that impression of what you are able to do. Often when we talk about meditation or opening the chakrams, there are often physical barriers that are sometimes difficult to overcome. But certainly by practicing a little, wanting to do so within our mind and stretching out towards that which is wanting to give the support that we all require, is really the important thing, stretching and reaching out. So when we talk of communication, say from spirit, that communication is very important because it does give the purpose of life, but also the purpose of death. Very, very important. The cornerstone of life is the quality of life, and that quality of life comes forward through meditation. It's not always the monetary situation, even the health situation. All of those, if we're able to fill tick those boxes of money and health, do not necessarily always bring happiness. It is the ability to calm and find inner peace that helps the situations of stress and uncertainty that is around us. And if I can just say this, Star Wars series, well, I love it. I hope some of you do as well. The Star Wars series concentrates on the Force. This Force, it is a fictional film, however, refers to the positive energies within the ethers. And that is what we are drawing on within our visualization. But just to give lip service, say, to meditation, and then put it aside when the mind is calm and life is good, it truly defeats the object. The greatest advances within ourselves and for ourselves are often made under duress. Life, your life, our life, everyone's life is very important for many, many reasons. But we are also setting the foundation for the new set of time to come. The new now. The new now, as we are actually always in the present. That, what I wanted to say is that next week, we're going to talk a little bit about regression, its implications, and let us say, how possibly we can move into regression as well. But what we're doing with all of the situations that we say that we bring forward, we always hope that the information has been interesting to you, but most importantly, of help and of benefit. But also, whenever we finish a podcast, which is not now, but did you Did it have any meaning to you? Did you hear what we say? Did it mean anything to you now at this particular point in life? And that's at the end when we always ask you to make some comments. It would be very, very helpful. But Thor, you're very tuned in with the chakrams yourself, meditation, you use colors, you use the crystals as well. Do you have anything? I know I sort of amalgamated a little bit what we have said before. So anything else you might find helpful to add?
Well, I suppose I had a question, which I'd love to get your thoughts on. We can have a discussion. Is, it's like, yes, it is true that let's use the words of Star Wars and say that we tap into the Force and we tap into the positivity of the ethers. What do we think are the limitations, right? Because people in Star Wars,
Yes.
they can lift things off the ground and the Force can make them fly.
Yes.
In the non-fictional reality that we live in, what are
Yes.
some of the limitations of the Force?
Well, the positive force, I can already almost hear somebody saying, well, what about the negative force? But just concentrating on the positive energy that is within and around us, even if we are ill, even when we are under stress, we still have that positive energy. But as I said, it is a fictional film. So it has to be a little bit more interesting to make it saleable. But that force, to achieve, if we look at achievement in all of those series, comes from the positive force that they are linking in with. And because of that, they might have enormous odds against them. Like the Death Star, I believe that's one of the last series, this huge Death Star, through this enormous, super powerful, I don't know, is he a seer or some sort of a celestial being, isn't he? Who sort of is now only energy, but nasty, crickly energy. But this positive force, so there's little Skywalker, he's small, he's a small stature of a man. And there he is, big, wide-eyed, and linking in with that force to try to overcome, and good versus evil, basically, isn't it? But when we talk about our good versus evil, once we allow difficulties to rule us, that's when the negative force rules. That's when the negative force wins. And we also have exactly that little button that we can push, that we win. We can win. But if we allow, if I'm talking about hatred or animosity, or someone's done something very bad, revenge, must have revenge. Let's see what, oh yes, in the next life they'll get this and that. Forget it. That's not our problem. Not only isn't our problem, because we can't do anything about it. So why should we spend our time, our energy, worrying about getting even? Forget it. They did it. Their karma. Your karma is to counteract that, calm mine. And what I can actually guarantee, and I think you're on this page too, Thor, I can guarantee you, you will win.
Yeah.
Give it time. Sit back. Maybe you don't have the job anymore. Maybe you're not in the flat anymore. Maybe you don't have the lover anymore. Don't worry. There's more. There's always more.
Yeah,
We're not
and there's
deprived of anything.
Yeah, and there's one more thing. There's another thing I would like to add actually. So I was working with a client this morning and doing meditation and all that kind of stuff. And what I said to her is, one of the most what I believe is, at least in a physical sense, is the biggest benefit of meditation is perspective taking.
Yes, that's
Which is
good.
the ability to have a sense of perspective and like zoom out and like take a step back consciously and intentionally and just do perspective taking. I think in a physical sense, is one of the greatest benefits of practicing meditation.
Absolutely. I like that word, to take perspective. That's right. Put it into the right category where it belongs. That's excellent. That's very,
Yeah.
very good. Yes.
Yeah, because I think sometimes one of the reasons why we suffer so much is because we're categorizing events and experiences in the
Yes.
wrong way. And we
Yes.
just don't have the right information, and then we apply meaning, and then our minds just goes
That's
ape
right.
shit. Excuse my French.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Also, we're not helped with the media either. Uh,
Exactly.
there's so much doom and gloom around it. I would love to hear more stories, and I know there's a lot of people that are helping other people.
Yeah.
And it's not always the neediest of the people that are being helped. Everybody is needy. We all need a bit of TLC, just some bit of kindness, and there is a lot going around it. And
Yeah.
I'd love to I'd like to hear more of that. Some
Yeah.
happy news.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Happy news. See, I think that's one of my most beneficial things or reasons for doing meditation is perspective taking because we get through our days, right? And we have bumps in the road, and just being able to take that step back
yes,
is a huge piece. And then being able to clear my chakras. I love using crystals on myself.
yes,
Sometimes when I can feel that a chakra is more out of whack than the other, I use a crystal on that for a bit
good.
longer period of time than all the others. And I mean, it obviously, like for those of you who've listened to this podcast for a long time know that I have like tummy issues, and sometimes I do use
Yeah,
crystal on my tummy, and it
yes.
doesn't take the problem away, but it does ease the pain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From what you're saying, doesn't take anything away. But that's again when we use medical help,
Yeah,
then we use the complementary situations to help on a deeper level, to help the body to help itself. I think that's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
And I
that
think
certainly does work.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the positive force of the ethers, it's not necessarily about being able to lift stones off the
No,
ground or flying. It's
no.
about being able to get through your day with a
Yes.
positive attitude of mind.
Yeah. Tell you one thing, if we get through the day with a positive attitude of mind, we might as well be flying. that's a, that's a huge accomplishment.
Well, exactly,
Everything going
right?
on around us. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. If you can get through
Yeah.
the day with a positive attitude of mind, that is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, we are Luke Skywalker, definitely. Yeah, we get the little badge.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Maybe that's like the positive message of the week, which is around like getting through the day with a positive
Yes.
attitude of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It certainly is. I'm also looking forward to when I mentioned the communication, of course, the communication from spirit, which is I'm a very literal person as well. When I'm told you will hear something, I expect to hear something, not to make believe I'm hearing something. That can be a problem. And of course, when we are talking about communication, it is on such a subtle level. And that's why it also takes so long. And that you have to trust yourself that you're not actually need a straight jacket, or that you're so desperate and so needy that you're hearing something that is not there. So that is also through meditation. Trust yourself. Go for it. If you feel you need to hear something, why not write it down? Find exactly how maybe correct you actually are. This
Mm.
communication. And when we're going to talk about the regressive state, which is, of course, is like opening a vault full of, say, DVDs or little chips, whatever, in the memory of all time, of course, it will be the guides that will choose which little scenario we are going to look at, because that scenario should have some bearing and understanding and relevance to what we are and what we're going through at this period of time as well. So communication is so important. But
Yeah.
as I said, it's just sometimes just a feel good factor. That's all that's needed to
Yeah.
shove us
So
on our way.
so in my meditation this morning,
Oh yes,
my I have one of my guides, is like an Indian yogi. His name is
yes,
Pakush, I believe. And yeah, so what I saw this morning was just it was just like a sandy space, like a pale sandy space, him sort of just sitting amongst a group of people, and that was it. And just sort of sitting in the presence of that guidance. I'm sure he must have been some sort of spiritual leader, or I don't know, like necessarily how you would call it, but yeah, that's what that was my meditation this morning.
that's a very pleasant feeling. Meditation, I would have thought,
Yes,
not something that this, that, and the other, but I think it's very meaningful because you're
yes,
already helping a lot of people, Thor, through through your coaching and also through your meditations. That's very, very good. Do you feel that perhaps you were also taught by that by Pakesh? Is it Pakesh?
Packers. I think it's
Pakesh.
Packers, something in that sense.
Pakesh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I do believe I was taught by him in that
Yes,
lifetime. And I suppose that is also part of his role this time around, is to
that's
do
right.
more teaching or teach me more or again or remind me, I suppose.
Yes, remind. I think that's possibly is just to bring back to the foreground what you did before. Yes,
Mm.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah, it was a
That's what I
very
had when I sat in trance with all of the guides. They said, refreshing my memory. At that particular point when they said that, I didn't remember a darn thing. Sounds new to me.
That's so funny. Yeah, sounds new to me. I'm not sure if I've been there before, though. I suppose
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't remember that line. Yeah, so,
that's so funny. Yeah, I suppose it's interesting that though, because like you do get a sense of that you have actually been there before, right?
yes.
When I did that meditation this morning, I did have
Mm,
a sense of I have been here before.
yes, yes. And when it gets, when the meditations become very positive, which they sometimes do, you can actually smell where you are. I've been in, say, a Native Americans' tents, and that is very whiffy because they kept their dinner there for many days and so on and so forth. It's very pungent,
Yeah,
very
and then
pungent.
like mixed with like incense and whatever else they were sort of trying to.
No, not Native Americans didn't really do incense as such, not like
Okay.
the Asian countries did.
Right,
No,
of course. Sure.
but
Yeah.
no, all I'm saying is you can actually smell.
Yeah.
You can actually smell your surroundings as well. Do you remember when we did that meditation in Egypt?
Yeah.
And we started off at the camp, the
Yeah.
camp of the workmen that were building this pyramid, of course, and the clanging of the cooking pots.
Yeah.
And we also at that time we smelled. This was within our own little group, Thor. We smelled the ingredients, whatever they were cooking, spices, very aromatic, very beautiful as well. And then when we went towards the pyramid, we felt the roughness of the rocks against the palm of our hands as we sort of made our way around that. It's very interesting when it becomes, when it gets to that depth. All I what I know, as far as I know, that is that we don't all need to be a guru. That means sitting somewhere only meditating. That is a life's path. That is a pattern of life, nothing else. Which doesn't mean that the rest of us who meditate in varying depths and for varying reasons are not as knowledgeable or as advanced as that individual. It is as plain as that. We don't have to achieve those huge levels. The most important thing that we can do for ourselves is to get through life and to find a quality of life, to find a quality of happiness, solutions. Yes, we have to maybe change jobs, outlook, whatever it happens to be. But that is, if we can do that, my goodness, you're totally evolved. Totally. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's really hard work.
Yes, it is hard work to live. Living is hard work. Every day is a challenge. We don't have animals chasing us, but my gosh, the tax man does. The bills do. They come in little envelopes now, flitting through your letterbox. They find you. There's a big brother who knows your shoe size.
Yeah,
Everything. Yes,
everything.
it's even worse actually.
So, is there anything more you'd like to say?
Um, if I said this last time, I would actually like to say it again.
Go on.
This is Winston Churchill. If you're going through hell, keep going. Meditate and just keep going with the rest of us.
Yeah, because
What we're doing is, I don't mean us two. I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm talking about just people in general. Hang in there. There's always a reason, and what will come out eventually will be better than what we left behind, because we're going to leave behind, I feel, a lot of archaic opinions and let us say attitudes, but also ways of doing things, which have been very, very old-fashioned and needed a change. And a real thorough kick up the what's it was needed to get us to move forward in life.
Mm-hmm.
I think technology can be a blessing for everybody.
Yeah. That's
And
lovely.
also yes, that's it. What
Great.
about yourself, Thor? Because you're very upbeat. You have a very good attitude. You sleep on it a couple of nights. Yeah, okay, I've done that. Tossed and turned. Yes, thank you. I think what possibly you realize, as what I would realize too, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So either you can harm yourself and become miserable, not a good place to be, or just, okay, I'll do something else.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think there's something you said once, which is to practice a sense of healthy detachment.
Yes.
And I think when you do, that gives a sense of freedom, because it's not about
Yes.
not being attached to anything, right? Because we have human feelings and love and care and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But to just practice that sense of healthy attachment. So when something goes a different way, you will
Yes.
obviously feel a sort of immediate wobble where you're like, oh, this is a bit not what I
Yeah.
expected. But then just sleeping on it a couple of days and then
Yes.
seeing how it goes, and then that will more than likely make a huge difference.
Yes. Absolutely. Everything, what just came to mind, everything is on loan. Even if someone owns a company or there's a company that's owned by shareholders and you are an employee, that job, their business, everything is only on loan. Our health, our our good fortune, even the bad times, they're only on loan, and everything passes by as well. There's only a certain period of time, and then change occurs. Now that's good. Healthy detachment, I think, is exactly what we all need.
I have definitely found that as I'm turning 30 soon,
Are
that is,
you?
well, in a year, I suppose, but
Yeah.
coming
Okay.
closer and
Yes.
closer
Still.
to
Yeah.
coming closer and closer to, I think it's come with maturity. With maturity, I've managed to become less reactive and, yeah, being able to practice a healthy sense of detachment.
But what I was like, what you've been doing, since I've known you for some time, uh, when we're younger, we're very vulnerable,
Yeah.
and you didn't actually have family around. I really admired the way you got through life as well. And you didn't have it easy. I'm not talking about the past childhood, but I can only speak about the time you've been over here.
Yeah.
And I've always been very impressed on how you dealt with everything. Strong personality, you got on with it. And that hasn't left you. It'll only grow more and more. And you'll find out exactly how right you are to have this sort of detachment
Yeah.
in everything that you do in your life as well. I think is very commendable, very commendable.
Thank you. Really appreciate
But
that.
you did it. You made it. You made it happen. You decide to meditate. You want to take that further. And that's where it lies, doesn't it? Do we want to do it or do we not want to do it?
Yeah.
Mm,
And there's literally no in between.
that's nothing. No, no in between.
It's just either you're committed or you're
Or
not.
that's right. Absolutely.
Hmm.
But did you find that when we did do some regressions on a serious level, did you find that knowing who your guides were and what your life was, did you feel that helped you in this life?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's given me tremendous amounts of confidence and belief in myself. And
Hmm.
like there's one, so the life before this is sort of French Canada winter, sort of Skinner kind of type walk. There's a vision which is going through winter and surviving winter with like absolutely very little, and just being able to persevere through that weather was incredibly powerful and incredibly strengthening.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, yes, that's interesting. It's also our, say, fears and weaknesses, all manner of things we can hold on to from a past life. So I
Yeah.
look forward to going into that, because anyone who wishes to meditate and opening their chakrams and they find a scenario of where they are, uh, we didn't put it there. It's in that person's mind, so they know for a fact that they've seen it, they've been there. No one's forcing them to see anything.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it just whatever comes, right? It's in their mind.
absolutely.
It's like a
But
cassette that sort of
that's
play.
right. But usually the cassette that's chosen should relate to now,
Yeah.
should help us now,
Yeah.
not just a Netflix freebie.
Freebie. I like Netflix though.
I
Nice
like
choice.
Netflix too, yes. I'm more of Amazon.
I actually have both.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I do too. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, it's been another great Friday, Ines.
wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Looking forward to delving deeper into regression next week.
Yes, yes, me too.
That's
Take
gonna
good
be
care of yourself.
you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Spiritual Link, the podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or wants us to explore a topic, please reach out on our Instagram account at Spiritual Link Co.